watching 48 Fastcast.
All right, y'all, 7:01. Thanks for joining us for the 48 Fastcast. A lot to get to this morning, but talking weather now, we're looking good, at least for the next couple days. This weekend, though, is kind of what we have our eyes on.
Yeah, that's sort of what we've been paying attention to this morning, Eric, what could potentially happen Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we're tracking some storms coming in Saturday for the afternoon, evening. Some of those storms could be stronger in nature with heavy rain, frequent lightning, and gusty winds. We're going to cover all of that hour by hour, talk about timing impacts coming up. But before we get there, Gina pointed out, yeah, we've got a beautiful stretch, and just let the good times roll. It's been a great week of March weather, forecasting our first 80-degree day of 2026 for Huntsville. The Shoals did hit 81 yesterday, kind of a mix of sun and clouds. It will be breezy, and with the warmer temperatures and a bit more humidity on Friday, could even see some pop-up showers and a couple storms in the mix too. They will be isolated, and then everyone has a chance of seeing some better coverage of the rain and maybe stronger storms for Saturday. More on that coming up. A little bit of fog here toward Sand Mountain into DeKalb County. Temperatures might not even need that light jacket this morning. We are cooler in northeast Alabama. Forecast for today, 80 degrees with breezy winds out of the southwest, gusting 15 to 20. And that breezy wind will blow around all that tree pollen for juniper, maple, and elm.
This is your 48 First Alert Road Report, sponsored by Bankston Motorhomes.
The traffic update here Thursday morning, actually looking pretty good. Not just the sky, but the traffic at 565. That's light for this time of the morning. But we do have an accident. It's not in the triangle. That is clear right now on 565. Parkway looks good, but take you down to the Gunnersville area. This is Alabama 69. Here's Georgia Mountain Road for reference. You get off the causeway, you're going westbound. If you're driving from Gunnersville to Arab, this will slow you down here this morning. Doesn't affect the Huntsville drive, which is still on time, except for Athens, a little bit longer now, up to 39 minutes. Gina?
Jeff, thank you. Right now, Iran is launching several new attacks on American and Israeli military bases. Sri Lankan authorities also announcing that another Iranian warship is near its waters. An Iranian warship was sunk yesterday in that same area. Numerous Iranian soldiers were killed. Azerbaijan's foreign ministry announced that Iran launched a drone attack on its territory earlier today. 2 people were hurt there. The latest violence comes after the U.S. and Israel intensified their attacks against Iran. More than 1,200 Iranians have been killed so far, along with 70 people in Lebanon and a dozen in Israel. Back here in the U.S., the Senate push to rein in the president's war powers failed.
At the very least, what we owe our service members is a debate, a public briefing, an explanation, an accounting of why this war and what its ends are.
Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania was the only Democrat to vote against the war powers resolution, and Republican Senator Rand Paul voted in favor of it. President Trump has said the attacks were needed to protect Americans and allies in the Middle East. He also has said that Iran must never develop a nuclear weapon.
Well, now to an update on a story we brought to you first earlier this week. Former 48 News anchor Lee Marshall has returned home after being stranded in Israel. Marshall, who's the CEO of the Kids to Love Foundation, was in Israel with 117 other women for a leadership conference. Now, she was about 2 hours from Tel Aviv when the American attacks on Iran began. Marshall spent 2 days going in and out of a bomb shelter. Now, she escaped Israel by taking a 25-hour bus ride through Egypt before flying to England and then to New York. Marshall finally returned home yesterday evening.
As a veteran journalist, I've covered war for many, many years, but to be there firsthand, to get the bomb warning systems that continued to go off was very alarming. The bomb warning systems would go off in Israel just like a tornado warning goes off in Alabama.
Now, Marshall was part of the first group of women from that conference who made it back home safely.
I remember I grew up in bombing when it was a war between Iran and Iraq. We were standing outside and we would see the bombs passing by at the top of our heads. I haven't been in that country for like 25 years. I cry because I see what's going on.
Well, right now, one Alabama man who was born in Iran says he wants change. He also says it's been heartbreaking seeing his home country being bombed. Hamed Akbarian of Mobile moved to the United States 25 years ago when his father brought him here for better opportunities. He says watching the violence unfold is painful, especially since his wife's family still lives in Iran, although he says a change is needed.
These are the consequences the people and the country should pay to get rid of these evil regime. We have to go back and rebuild that country, everybody together, Iranian outside Iran, with the help of Iranian inside.
Akbarian does say he wants to see violence against the innocent people there stop. This morning, one Tennessee woman is sharing her recent experience of being in the Middle East when the fighting started. Sarah Mati was in Dubai celebrating her anniversary with her husband when they started seeing explosions outside of their hotel room. She sheltered in place before deciding to find a flight out of Dubai as soon as possible.
You always see those videos of people who come home after being gone for a long time and something like this, and they go kiss the ground. I see why people go and kiss the ground when they come home. I'll be able to breathe again too.
Now this morning she did find a flight and is currently flying back to Nashville from Hong Kong.
Well, you might have seen some dramatic videos and images that claim to show battle scenes on your social media feed, but it's important to remember that what you see online isn't always true because AI is often used nowadays to trick people. A lot of misleading content has circulated since the conflict started. Some of the videos and images of fake explosions were generated by AI. A UAB cybersecurity expert warns that people will use the war as an opportunity to spread misinformation.
With advances in AI models and all these different tools that are out there available to everyone, it's really very easy to create these videos from simple prompts. Most of the AI platforms allow to write a prompt and create very realistic videos from that.
Now, several social media platforms have taken steps to flag or identify AI-generated content. Well, right now, gas prices across our area are going up. Here in Alabama, the average price is $2.94 per gallon. 1 week ago, it was $2.65 per gallon. Now, the average price in Huntsville is around $2.87, which is a bit more expensive than both Decatur and Florence. This all according to AAA.
When you are capped at just 14 visits a year, and you're in an age group 50 to 64 that is much more likely to have one of these conditions, it creates some barriers for folks to access care that they need.
Well, 48 is on your side this morning talking with AARP about Medicaid limits on doctors' visits and medications. Many viewers have contacted us saying those limits are putting their health at risk.
Yeah, Jamie Harding with the AARP Alabama says that those caps often force seniors to delay treatment or even ration medications. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy joins us live this morning near Huntsville Hospital. And Sarah Grace, some people even have to visit the ER when they use up all of their available appointments.
Harding tells me that when people use up those appointment limits, they end up in the ER for their primary care needs. This is because there's not as many rules when it comes to emergency room visits with Medicaid. But the ER is oftentimes the most expensive place to receive care. Harding tells me that Medicaid is the backbone of the healthcare system in Alabama because it helps so many people get the healthcare they need. She does want to see changes to the number of visits and medications people can receive. In 2023, a new rule went into effect, allowing diagnosed cancer patients to visit the doctor 32 times a year. Harding tells me there are many middle-aged adults living with other chronic diseases who don't get the same flexibility. She also encourages people to reach out to lawmakers if they want to see a change.
Our legislators pay attention to the folks who get in touch with them the most. And so if they don't hear from you, then they don't think you have a problem. Not all states have these kinds of caps. A lot of states don't. They don't say you can't have as much care as you need when you need it. So Alabama, this is a very much a way for them to try to contain costs.
I reached out to a lawmaker who sponsored many Medicaid bills this session to see if there were any plans to maybe change the caps in the future, but I did not hear back in time. If we do hear back, we will update this story this morning. I'm in Huntsville, Sarah Grace Kennedy, 48 on your side.
All right, thanks, Sarah Grace. Well, right now, a man accused of shooting and killing a Sheffield police officer is asking that he sees the evidence that's going to be used against him in the trial. Now, Brian Martin, is accused of murdering Sheffield Sergeant Nick Reisner and his friend William Mielbeck Jr. back in 2021. Martin is asking that he be allowed to see dash cam footage from at least 5 different patrol cars during that shooting. Martin also claims that the evidence against him has been tampered with. He's expected to be back in court in a week. If convicted, he could be sentenced to death. Well, now to a 48 safety alert. Right now, police are investigating after a student claims that she was recorded in a bathroom. She says this happened at Alabama A&M. That student, who did not want to be identified, says this happened in a stall inside the engineering building on Monday. She tells us that she caught someone trying to record her with a phone. Now, she says the man ran away after she confronted him. Now, she also claims that police told her the security cameras inside the engineering building were not working at the time. Now, university leaders have sent us a statement which reads in part, quote, "We have no tolerance for any type of acts on our campus that impact the safety of our community," end quote. Now, we're also told that appropriate authorities have been contacted.
This morning, we're asking for more information from Huntsville police about the woman who was found shot to death at an apartment. This happened yesterday at a complex off University Drive near Jordan Lane. Police say they found a woman dead after getting a shots fired call. The Madison County coroner has ruled her death a homicide. One witness says he was working maintenance next door when he heard those shots.
Yeah, it's still concerning, though, because you get a lot of people walking around, not saying they're bad people, but you never know about people nowadays. Say a prayer for the families. Be with them. It's even no matter what the cause was, it's still a hard time to lose a family member.
Police have not released the name of the victim or said if anyone has been arrested.
Well, this morning, the case against a former Coleman County attorney accused of trying to kill her husband is progressing towards a trial. Sarah Baker has been indicted on several charges, including attempted murder and elder abuse. The Coleman County District Attorney's Office says she put fentanyl inside of her husband's food and drink. Court records allege that this happened multiple times in September of 2025. Now, authorities believe she did this in an attempt to murder her husband. Her law license was suspended back in December.
This morning in Huntsville, the capital murder case against a man accused of gruesomely killing his grandparents is moving toward a trial. Xavier Cole is accused of killing his grandparents with a sword and knife inside their South Huntsville apartment last year. A grand jury just indicted Cole on those capital murder charges. A Huntsville police investigator testified that Cole told him he blacked out for most of the incident, but does remember killing the couple. He's due back in court for an arraignment soon.
Well, 7:13 this morning, and hemp products sold in Huntsville may soon have fewer locations where you can purchase them. This comes as city leaders are trying to meet some zoning requirements, and they've drafted a zoning change to meet those guidelines.
Yeah, 48 is on your side with where the sales will be legal if passed. 48's Matthew King joins us now live. And Matthew, this new state law sets guidelines on where hemp can be sold.
Yeah, when you go to a liquor store in Huntsville, it can't be too close to a church, neighborhood, or school. The same thing will apply with hemp products. It also has to be in stores that are big enough to be able to sell those products. So this new state law sets regulations for where under the Alabama Alcoholic Beverage Control Board, or the ABC. The city of Huntsville wants to update zoning codes to follow this law so hemp can be legally distributed in city limits. Hemp products are essentially now being treated as a liquor product, with only certain store types actually able to sell it. City Planning and Zoning Manager Thomas Nunez says this means your local gas station or smoke shop may not be able to sell it.
They can be in places that might not be as adaptable as we would believe. So considering that this product is also controlled by the ABC board, we found it most appropriate to put it in the same aspects of our alcohol and package sale consumption.
And this is still early in the process for this proposed zoning change. This will be voted on with a public hearing at a city council meeting 3 weeks from today. If it does pass, it will go into effect in April. Reporting live in Huntsville, Matthew King, 48 on your side.
All right, thanks, Matthew. Well, in Huntsville, also get ready for some slowdowns later today. That's because crews will be installing the final bridge girders on the Memorial Parkway overpass at Maston Lake Road. Work began last night, and there will be a lane closure from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. Friday morning. The lane closure will be for northbound traffic. Construction on the project is set to wrap up by the end of this year. Well, also happening today, if you live in Limestone County, you might be able to pick up some bottled water. This comes after a number of complaints about the water there being brown and murky. Residents in the eastern part of the county tell us that their tap water had been cloudy and brown. Now you can take a look at what some of that water looked like there. Limestone County water authorities also tell us that this problem started on Monday when they tried to install a new water line. We're told there was an issue when the crews tried installing that new water line to the remaining system, which led to sediment and dirt being pulled through the lines. Now they also say that the water is safe for people to bathe in. Some viewers, though, disagree.
They just say it's calcium deposits and sediment. It's fine. Well, you know, the picture of my bathtub, I'd like for the Limestone County water employees to come and take a bath in that then.
Well, free water bottles will be handed out today at the East Limestone Fire Department. This will happen from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Each household can take one case. Impacted residents will also receive a credit on their next bill.
Now, your First Alert weather with meteorologist Eric Burke.
Well, good morning once again, everyone. Beautiful day today, forecasting a high of 80 degrees. It will be a little breezy and we'll see some sun, but also some clouds to deal with too. Even warmer for Friday. Great end to the work and school week. However, we could see pop-up showers and maybe a few storms developing Friday afternoon and evening. They will be isolated. Not many of you will actually have to deal with the downpours or storms. Higher confidence and rain and storm potential for Saturday as a cold front makes its way across the Tennessee Valley. A cold front in March. And this time of year means some of these storms could be stronger with gusty winds, heavy rain, possibly some lightning, and maybe even some small hail. For today, though, a good one from start to finish. Afternoon temperatures around 80 with that breezy south-southwest wind.
All right, thanks, Eric. Well, still to come on 48 News today, there will now be limits on how much screen time your child can receive while at daycare. We'll give you the details next. Well, there will now be some restrictions on how much screen time your child can access when they're at kindergarten or at daycare. Governor Kay Ivey signing that measure into law yesterday. A daycare director in Alabama says that the first years of a child's life are the most crucial for their development, and spending too much time in front of a screen can have a negative impact on it. Excessive screen time can also hamper their ability to develop social skills.
With the play-based learning, they were really happy with that they can have hands-on learning and that they're not just sitting behind the screen all day, and they can actually be in tune with like those social emotional skills.
Now, firm time limits have not been established under this law, so the Department of Human Resources and the State Department of Education are working on putting those together.
Well, right now across Alabama, wildfires are continuing to spark. Forestry Commission officials explain why this is happening. Ballsy Butler with the Alabama Forestry Commission says there have been more than 300 wildfires in the last month alone. More than 6,000 acres of land have been scorched. He says because of the current dry conditions, simple mistakes can often cause these fires.
I was driving down the road. The chain fell off of the trailer and it threw a spark. That started the fire. A lot of people are flicking cigarettes out of the window when they're done.
Now, Butler also advises you to make sure you do the proper planning before you start any campfires. Lawrence County EMA leaders told us fire departments across their area responded to multiple brush fires yesterday.
Well, nearly 2 years after its closure, we now know what the Birmingham Southern campus will be turned into. It's being repurposed into a training facility for the U.S. Coast Guard. Supporters of the move say it comes at the perfect time, as there have been record-breaking recruitment numbers for the branch. Birmingham Southern closed in 2024 following years of financial troubles. Now, Alabama A&M leaders actually tried to buy the campus, but their bid was rejected. Congressman and Birmingham Southern alum Robert Adderholt says the purchase will ensure the campus has an important purpose for years to come.
Now, your First Alert weather with meteorologist Eric Burke.
All right, we've got to talk about our rain and storm chances over the next couple of days. We'll use future radar to show you what's going on. This will be tomorrow. A very warm day to end the week. High temperatures on Friday in the upper 70s to low 80s. It's going to feel a bit more humid and spring-like, and that means we will see some isolated pop-up showers, maybe a few storms in the mix too, almost like a summertime pattern coming, and that'll be for March the 6th. Now, higher confidence in rain and storm potential coming on Saturday. This is as a front approaches the Tennessee Valley, and some of these clusters of heavier rain and storms, the storms could be stronger, could produce some gusty winds, frequent lightning, heavy rain, and maybe small hail. Threat for stronger storms wrapping up Saturday night. Off and on through the day on Sunday, we'll see some rounds of rainfall and some thunder as well.
All right, thanks, Eric. Well, still to come, a new exhibit for classic rock fans is opening up in the shows. We'll show you what's inside.
And you can enjoy some baseball action at Toyota Field, but it's not the Trash Pandas. We explain after the break.
Well, check this out. There's a brand new rock and roll exhibit that you can check out in these shows. Now, that exhibit honors the Rolling Stones. The band made 3 songs in the shows area. Now, this new exhibit will have worn outfits, concert posters, and a 2,000-pound logo made for fans to take pictures with. Now, it will be located at the Renaissance Shows Resort in Florence. The exhibit is set to open next Friday, March 13th, and tickets can be purchased online.
Well, Trash Panda baseball doesn't start for another few weeks, but you can watch some baseball at Toyota Field very soon. Sooner than that, there will be some high school games happening at the stadium all this month. Now, the first game is Saturday, March 14th. There will be 3 matchups that day. The other dates are March 19th, the 26th, and the 27th. There will also be 1 high school game in April. Tickets are $10 per day, and you get all games included in the admission price. You can find what local teams are playing and a link to buy tickets on our website, WAFF.com.
Now, your First Alert weather with meteorologist Eric Burke.
All right, temperatures on this Thursday morning, 50s and 60s. Incredibly mild start, might even be jacket optional if you're going out for your morning walk around the neighborhood. Maybe do an extra lap, take advantage of it, although the pollen count is very high. Showers and storms, looking at isolated coverage for your Friday afternoon, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday brings the threat of maybe some stronger storms. Sunday, I'm thinking, is mostly rainfall with some occasional thunder, but the pattern stays active as we go into next week. High of of 80 today, winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, the gusts at least, mostly from late morning into the afternoon. Here's that weekend. Saturday morning will be dry, but then we're tracking the front coming in. Storms could produce gusty winds, heavy rain, lightning, even some small hail. Sunday brings some off and on rounds of rainfall, some thunder, and then we've got another front coming in toward the end of next week, and that will knock down temperatures a bit, but nothing crazy, just mid to upper 60s toward the end of your 10-day.
All right. Well, today looks great. The day for pickleball.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
See you out there.
Hey, yeah. Someday we need to get Gina out there too.
That's right.
All right, y'all have a great rest of your day.